أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا رحمة للعالمين بالقاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise and glory belongs to Allah, the creator of this universe, the one who has created reality and given the tools that are necessary to be able to perceive that reality. All existence is dependent on the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's nothing independent of existence other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we were to perceive the reality by the tools that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided, it will help us to become aware first and foremost of our own potential. We'll be able to utilize it and we will be able to develop it. But if we do not perceive reality by the tools given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it is going to be distorted. We will be deceived and we will be manipulated. And that is exactly our situation. Our religion, reality is something else and distortion is something else. Our religion has been distorted. We have been deceived and now we are being manipulated. And fools that we are, we do not understand and we do not try to change that perception. We don't try to go after that reality. So we get out of deception and we stop getting manipulated. And we're stuck in this vicious circle. It just keeps on going on and on. I mean, even just look at our own selves. Okay? Let's not look at the whole Muslim Ummah. Let's just look at our own selves. There was a person who came up to you in the first 15 days. Would somebody be able to tell me what the topic of that person's talks were? And I was going to ask about this maybe later on when we have some more people. You know, the ones who were committed, they ended up showing. The ones who were, there's still some on the way. But I wanted to make sure that everybody had the opportunity to answer that question. And if you do not remember it and it's not coming to your mind, or you're putting a lot of pressure to find out what it was, then that 15 days that passed by, it is as if you had nobody. It is as if, one of the reasons why you end up coming is for spiritual currency. That's all. You know, it's something of a tradition. It's something that you have to do. I don't know where someone has written it, that you must have this Husainiya, this center, in that center, you must have 30 days, And in those 30 days, you must have 15 days for one Maulana, 15 days for another Maulana. And you must have all of these days divided among the community, that every day somebody has to, be willing to offer the iftari. Is it written anywhere? These are things that we have understood for our own selves, and we decided that this is going to be what the plan is. True? And the reason why we do that, our motivation behind is just spiritual currency. That's all. We open up a center for spiritual currency. And I'll let you know what that spiritual currency is. We open up a center for spiritual currency. We come together for spiritual currency. We decide on 15 days for spiritual currency. Then we decide on each day who's going to do the iftari for spiritual currency. And every day we come sit down for spiritual currency. Spiritual currency is the best translation that I have seen for sawab. And this spiritual currency that you are after, or maybe even me, you don't even see it. Right? We run after it, we don't even see it. I mean, money, material currency, you see it. You can go, you see a paycheck, you go to the account, you look at your figure. This is how much money I've got in my account. This is like how much I can take out. This is how much. You see it. This spiritual currency you and I are not even seeing. We have this belief that on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to hand us this over, this account, this wealth that we have accumulated. Which is fine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do that. But there is one treasure that we miss out on. That treasure can give you multiplied by as much as you want, spiritual currency. That treasure which no one can steal from you. That treasure, by spending it, is always going to become more. And we let go of that treasure. And that's knowledge. You and I, we do not come to my Ramadan for knowledge. You haven't come here for knowledge. If you had come here for knowledge, you would know what I said yesterday. Or you would know what has been said in the last 15 days. But somebody was to ask, 15 hours you sat in class and you do not know what the topic was? Would that be okay to say that you came for knowledge? 15 hours were spent. Behind it, money was allotted. Behind it, all of this facility was, the logistics were taken care of. Somebody had to vacuum, somebody had to clean, somebody brought food. All of these things were facilitated for us to show up for spiritual currency. While the treasure of knowledge we did not take. We just knowledge was being dispersed. We understand that knowledge happens to be a treasure that does not go down. If you spend it, it goes more. And with the knowledge, you are able to acquire any of the spiritual currency that anybody can ever get. The difference between the prayer of an alim and the difference between a prayer of a jahil is just as much as the prayer of a ghair masoom and Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. This is how much of a difference there is. and we let go. We just want sawab. And then guess what happens? You speak for 1 hour, right? And what did Maulana say? Only the things that maybe were your gods you remember. Only the things that were your own ideas you remember. Only of the things that were against your own ideas you remember. But don't remember the rest. The whole hour, right? What did Maulana say? The kids will remember, oh, he talked about PS4. The sisters will remember, oh, he said something about the mothers. The elders will remember, oh, he said that we don't have love for each other anymore. That the brothers don't love each other. That was it. I gave you the definition of 3 different types of fasts. I gave you the definition of what is wajib, what is mustahab, what is makruh, what is mubah, what is haram. I told you what is the purpose of our creation. I told you what your potential was and how you can realize, utilize and develop. Where are they? When I told you all of this, where is it? Who knows? But what is left? Oh, Maulana ye kyun kaha, wo kyun kaha, ye aisa kyun kiya, ye kyun kiya. Because we never came here for knowledge. We just came to fill the blank of that half an hour, 45 minutes before iftari. That's all. We just want to fill it and want to get sawab. If we do not acquire knowledge, religion will always be distorted. We will always get deceived. And then if we get manipulated, whose fault is that? Your own. If somebody comes up and tells you what is the definition of wajib, and you do not understand or you do not even remember it, you do not want to remember it, and then somebody else comes you another definition of wajib, somebody comes gives you another definition of wajib, what happens? You get confused. The definition of wajib gets distorted. That is if you actually remember the definition of wajib. Right? I mentioned to you that what are your actual needs and what needs have been made up to be needs. I told you that if you were going to let go of those needs that have been made up to be your needs, which are not your needs. Can somebody give me one example of that? Right, thank you. Like your cell phones and the cable and the internet has been made up to be as your need. Is not your need. You look at me, no. It's our need. It's not your need. If it was your need, humanity would have needed that 1400 years ago. Humanity needed the ability to communicate. The need was to communicate. Okay? The need was to express yourself. The need was to reach another individual who you love. This is your need. The cell phone is not your need. Cell phone is that means that have been built today. You see? It's different. And where is this need coming from? It's coming from your potential that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to you. to express, to communicate, to connect to the ones that you love. Entertainment is in your, like the need for entertainment or the need for pleasure is in your instinct and your fitrah and your nature. It's there. Right? You know, Ayatollah Bahjat, Rahmatullah alayh, Bahjat means pleasure. But when is it called pleasure? When this pleasure is, or freshness is, when it is received in prayer. It's Bahjat. No. So pleasure is there. I mean, you have that as one of your needs, as far as your instinct is concerned, as far as your nature is concerned. So PS4 or Netflix is not your need. Yeah. And these are the gods of today that I'm talking against. So I don't know if Mawahideen are going to have a problem. They become gods, literally. Idols. When anything is means, and that means is turned into a goal, then that becomes an idol. There's only one God. There's only one goal. And there's only one purpose. And that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is only one end. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you look at, when you read a book, when you flip the last page, it says the end, do you expect anything? No, right? And there was a beginning of that book. True? The whole of the book. Right? Each chapter was, what was it? The end? See? Was it the end? It's English, no? It's supposed to. Each chapter was connected to the other chapter, it was connected to the other chapter, it was leading you towards the end. The end is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The rest of the creations of Allah are just means to another means, to another means, to another means, to another means, to another means that take you to the end. With me? And if you make any of these means to be your end, then that is the definition of a God. Your car is means. Yeah, it's means. Your cell phone is means. Your house is a mean. Your wife is means. Yeah. Your husband is means. Your children are means. Your jobs are means. Money is means. That you have to determine. What is it towards to? If it is not towards the end, the actual goal, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then all of these means are going to not remain means, but they will become the end. And then you will live your life for that end, which would be money, which would be wife, which would be children, which would be car, which will be house, which will be job, and every single thing that is means that now has turned into be a God. The difference between a muwahhid and a kafir is just that. A muwahhid takes a look at the whole universe, sees it to be means towards that one ultimate end. And a person who does not believe looks at means as the end and gets stuck in it. This is total differentiation between a mu'min and a kafir. So Is your job's means or end? See? Means. But just remember, if your wife is not means and she is the end, then she is your goddess. She is your God. And if the husband is the end and he's not the means, then he is your God. If the children are not means, they are your end. Well, then I'll say this one thing in Urdu and I'll come back. हम तो अपने बच्चों के लिए जीते. Generally people say, we live for our kids. Where did we get that idea from? We're supposed to live for Allah. Kids were means towards His awareness, towards His closeness. Kids were an illumination or an image of the mercy and the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To see creation come about. It was a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are not God. You don't have to live for them. You don't have to live for anyone. You just have to live for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because He is the end. There's no other end. If it was that you were going to be raised in front of any of the other gods, submit to it. But if you believe and you know and you're convinced, your intellect says that, your emotions say that, your imagination says that, your whole being says that the day I will be resurrected, I will be in front of that end, that one that is independent in existence, and the rest is all dependent on His existence. Then you do not have to live for anyone else but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Is that understood? So, before the people were not here, I said some things, and I was just taking care of some housekeepings, and I'll say that again now. Please do not come to these gatherings just for sawab. Okay? Your spiritual currency that you're looking for, I'm giving you a better way to earn a lot more. Okay? If you just came here for sawab and you had your iftari and you had your prayer and you left, you got spiritual currency, which is promised to you on the Day of Judgment, you will receive it. But if you came here and you learned, you took knowledge, that knowledge would be a lot better for you than that spiritual currency you will receive. Right? If you don't believe me, just go take a look at traditions. What is the fazilat or the uniqueness or the greatness of knowledge? Go take a look. You'll be surprised that abids are nothing in front of an alim. Zahids are nothing in front of an alim. Even the blood of the martyrs is nothing in front of an alim. The company of an alim is better than going to a person's funeral. It's a worship. You look at all of the things that have, and a person who is an alim is not somebody who has just an abakabar and a mama on their head. An alim in the definition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is out of my whole creations, the ones that are in absolute fear of me are the ulama. Our topic is realizing the potential of yours and understanding what distortion is, what deception is, and what manipulation is. So that this cycle of vicious cycle that is continuing, where our religion gets distorted, we get deceived and we get manipulated, that cycle stops. So when you come here, this is a class for half an hour, for 35 minutes. Even like, you could have done without me and you could have put it on YouTube. Just as the Quran is recited every day by YouTube. Just as dua is recited every day by YouTube. You could have had a person come and be in front of a UHD TV 4K with a lot higher definition of your own eyes. You could have seen somebody speak to you. But if you're coming here, come for the sake of knowledge. Be a student. Come with a pen and paper. Write notes. When the definitions are given to you, write those definitions down. When I gave the definitions of wajib yesterday, or mustahab yesterday, or makruh, or haram, or halal, you should have written it down. When I gave you the 3 different types of people who fast, you should have written it down. Because if you don't do that, I will be here every day and I'll leave after 15 days. And somebody would come up and say, what was the topic of Maulana? How was this Maulana? Oh, it was great, it was wonderful. Really, really good speeches. And what did he talk about? कैसी थी भाई स्पीच? कैसी थी? कैसी लगी तकरीर? बहुत अच्छी, माशाल्लाह माशाल्लाह, वाह 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 वाह, सुभान अल्लाह सुभान अल्लाह. What did the Maulana say? I don't know. But the speech was great. Let's not waste our lives. Let's not waste our hours. Let's not waste our minutes. When it comes to religion, we don't have time. You know why? Because time in itself is also currency. Time is currency. You spend it, it's gone. I have money in my pocket, I could give you a visual too. But if I have $100 and there are 10 people, and I give each person $10 but $120, and I was supposed to give $10 to each person, I have $100 divided among the 10, but to one person I give instead of 10, 20. Guess what's going to happen? For one person you will have no money. True? Yes or no? Out of the 10 people, you will only be able to give to 9. The 10th you will not get. Why did the 10th not get money? Because you gave one how much? 20. When you've given Bollywood 3 hours and Hollywood 2 hours and Facebook 2 hours and tweeting and Instagram and everything else that you classify as my need, I must have. I must sit down on Facebook for 2 hours. A teenager will be saying, I must play PS4 for 8 hours. I must do this. I must do this. Why you must? Why you must? It's not your need. Your need was food, water, shelter. You took care of it. And in Ramadan, you even let go of those needs. You show self-control. When you can show self-control and not have water, not have food, not do those things that are going to let go of your fast, where is your self-control? This is not your need. And when Islam says, give me something, say, I'm sorry, we don't have time for you. For studying about your aqaid, about your fiqh, about your ideology, your rules and regulation, laws of Islam, the study of the health of your soul. Oh, we don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Why don't you have time? Because you spent it all, and when it came for Islam, you had nothing left. Just like that $100 you were supposed to divide among 10, $10 per person, you gave 120, guess what? The ninth one is not going to get anything. It's currency. It's gone, spent. Time well spent, right? We say that. Even to the fact that time is in existence. So wujud. We say that in our terminology. What are you doing? Oh, nothing, killing time. People should get punished for murder. They should be prosecuted, persecuted for killing time. But in no court of law do you get persecuted for killing time. But it's actually, people actually say, oh, what are you doing? I'm killing time. Nobody actually gets offended by that. Nobody says, what are you doing? Why are you killing time? Nobody says that. You know what they say? Do you mind if I join in? Do you mind if I join in and we both can kill time? How are we going to change then? If this is how we are, if what I'm saying is what is real, and this is what our situation is, how we will change? Right? So what is our topic? So let's give so many topics that at least you remember my one, right? There are the awareness, utilization and development of the potential of a human being. To become aware of your potential, to utilize your potential, and to develop it to the point where you become a representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the face of this earth. That's too far-fetched of an idea. You all have it. I do too. So why are we not to that place? Because of distortion, deception, and manipulation. Okay? Because of distortion, deception, and manipulation. Do you know what distortion is? You know what distortion is? To change, twist, or exaggerate the actual thing, not to add anything. Linear distortion, I don't know if you guys, anybody studies the frequency or signals, electrical signals. You know what linear distortion is? When no other factors are there to change the signal, the actual signal gets distorted because the balance is offset. Are you with me? Higher, both uncha to nahi ho gaya? You guys are all, mashallah, educated, professional, IT, doctors. We won't talk about signals then. Okay. On the TV, when the signal is weak, what happens to the screen? It gets distorted. Why does it get pixelated? Right? Pixelated, like Minecraft. Right? Minecraft is just pixelation. Right? When you play Minecraft, it has all these pixels. So it's like a dog, or it's like a wolf, or it's like a, bow and arrow, or whatever it is, but it doesn't really have the shape. You can tell that it is a dog, you can tell it's a wolf. Right? With me? You guys who play Minecraft? Yeah. So when you see, it's the actual thing, like nothing is added. But the balance has been changed. Because the balance has been changed, now you see pixelation, distortion. And the reason balance is being changed is because the signal is weak. Are you with me? We always try to balance what? Balance life between, or balance deen and religion and the world. Balancing family life, balancing professional life, balancing, I don't know, it seems like the whole life of ours is like a balancing act. Right? And if this thing is not going to get balanced, guess what's going to happen? Linear distortion. Things that are there, you won't be able to see them. They'll all get pixelated. Is that my wife? Really? Is that my wife? This is who I married? I've been with her for the last 20 years. It's all pixelated. And the wife is looking at the husband saying, really? Were you the one that I married? What has happened to you? Where is my husband? Where is that person who used to write me this many letters of I love you, and he used to write me, I guess for you guys, maybe you're not that old, who used to email me or message me and, on WhatsApp. Where is that husband? Texting me. And it's like, it's all when it gets distorted, everything is, this is really my child? Right? And then when it comes to even like somebody comes and starts telling you about Tawheed, and you are looking at that person and say, really? Is that what Tawheed is? When they start telling you about the Fazail of Imam Ali alayhi salam, you wonder if that is really the Fazail of Imam Ali. Where they will exaggerate in the personality of Imam Ali alayhi salam to the point that they will end up calling him God. And trust me, we have people who actually sit down on the mimbar of the Prophet and they exaggerate Imam Ali alayhi salam to the point where they call him Rabbul Alameen. They say, Rabb, how they say Inshallah, they end up saying Insha Ali. Instead of saying Allah Hafiz, they say Ali Hafiz, Ali Shallah. There are individuals who are doing, and they have this huge audience, and they make hundreds and thousands of dollars by doing that. And then there are those individuals who distort it in this way, that they will tell about Imam Ali alayhi salam, they will not say that he is God, but they would love to make those indications that he is God. They will have in the poetry too some sort of nusariyat in there, and they But no, we're not saying that we're nusari. Oh no, we're not saying that. But if you're not saying, you're saying that you're not nusari, why do you find pleasure when you hear those distorted ideologies? नुसैरी हम नहीं है, लेकिन नुसैरियत की जब तक बदबू नहीं आती शेर व शायरी में, हमें मजा नहीं आता. उस पे दांत भी देते हैं. We become like, oh my, did you hear what the guy just said? The person just said to you, he just broke down Tawheed, cut the roots of Tawheed in front of you. He put you into the realm of polytheism. Wah, 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 wah. And then there is a third type of distortion that they do with Imam Ali is that they will deny all of the greatness that Imam Ali has. No, this is when they say that Imam Ali is going to divide heaven and hell, this is just an exaggeration. He's not going to do that. The traditions are there, they're solid, the ulama have done research. The tradition is saying that Imam Ali ﷺ is going to distribute heaven and hell. No, he's not going to do that. Why do we not understand why are the distortion happening? Because we haven't understood what the potential of a human being is, especially in Imam Ali. We have not understood what the potential of a human being is, how high a human being can actually go, and what powers a human being can actually have to manipulate the universe that is matter. And even that is something which is non-matter. So inshallah ta'ala, as time goes along, and you're going to come and without any notebooks and without any pens and paper, all I will be left with is maybe keep on repeating the same things I said to you yesterday, so that something seeps in, goes in. Just start looking at this mimbar now as a place where a teacher is sitting down and you are the students. The Prophet, when he made this mimbar, he didn't make it for speeches. He didn't make it for speeches. He didn't used to have this tour, Maulana going for 1 month there, 1 month there. It wasn't like this. He made it, this was a chair of the teacher, and the ones who were sitting on the bottom were the students. And if you want to learn, you need to be just like any other student who goes to a class. When your children show up at a class without pen and paper, what do you say to them? Are you here to study? If you want to learn, I'm here to teach. As far as spiritual currency, you all are getting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to bless us with spiritual currency, sawab. And if we end up understanding, then we have a possibility to let go of this distortion, stop getting deceived and manipulated. And the best thing to do is to gain knowledge. Inshallah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless us with the true light of His in our hearts and purify our hearts, accept our worship and prayers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to become the friends and followers of the Imam of the time. May he come as soon as possible. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat wa tawassaw bil haqq wa tawassaw bis sabr.